Hello, friends. Once again, we begin with the study of physics, chapter of current electricity. So, in previous lecture, we explained concept of Wheatstone bridge, then meter bridge, then potentiometer, and its applications or its uses. Now, let us begin with the next applications of potentiometer. Now, check carefully the next topic of applications of potentiometer. So in which we have number first is a voltage divider. The voltage V divides in proportion of length L1 and L2 as shown in the figure here. So check carefully the diagram of voltage divider using potentiometer. So cell having EMF E, that is positive connected to A, negative of cell through resistance R connected to point B, and we have potentiometer wire between A and B here. Now we have from point A and corresponding device, and then will be connected to point P. So between A and P we have length will be L1 and corresponding potential is V1 here. And similarly between P and B the length will be suppose L2 and corresponding potentially suppose V2 here. So these V1 and V2 depend upon the magnitude of length L1 as well as magnitude of length L2. Suppose if we consider an example as between A and B we have potential suppose 5 volt. So that 5 volt we are going to divide into two parts. Suppose for example 2 plus 3. So 2 volt will be appear across AP and 3 volt across PB. So we have this particular arrangement called voltage divider, and that has a number of applications in electronic circuit and in electricity. So this is our first application. Now number second application as audio control. Sliding potentiometers are commonly used in modern low power audio system as audio control device. So that sliding potentiometer to control the volume of the audio system. In that case we use potentiometer. Second, both sliding means faders and rotary potentiometers means knob are regularly used for frequency attenuation, loudness control, and for controlling different characters of audio signal. So frequency attenuation means reduction in frequency, or loudness control we can do with the help of potentiometer. So with the help of potentiometer we can limit the current, and according to we limit the loudness. Now also we have some other characters of audio signal that can be controlled with the help of potentiometer. So that is our second application. These things we are going to learn in next year's syllabus on in senior college. Number third, potentiometer as a sensor. So one of the important part or application that will be as a sensor, and here we consider singles one of the sensor. So if slider of potentiometer is connected to moving part of machine, it can work as a motion sensor. So that part of machine how much it is moved from its fixed point, that can be calculated in terms of change in resistance of potentiometer wire, and that calibrated in terms of the motion or how much displacement of that particular part, that can be measured with the help of this potentiometer instrument. So we have number of particular sensors that can be used as using potentiometer. Now we have some advantages and disadvantages, or we have merits and demerits. So what we have, the first part, check carefully. Potentiometer is more sensitive than voltmeter. Potentiometer is more sensitive than voltmeter. So voltmeter has the limited sensitivity, but potentiometer sensitivity we can increase by increasing the potentiometer wire. So that is our first merit. Number second is, check carefully, a potentiometer can be used to measure a potential difference as well as an EMF of cell. A voltmeter always measures terminal potential difference, and it cannot use to measure an EMF of cell. So simply in second point what we have given, voltmeter measure only potential difference, and potentiometer can be used as a potential difference measurement as well as EMF measurement. So voltmeter doesn't measure the EMF of cell. So that can be only measured with the help of potentiometer. Now number third, a very small potential difference of order of 10 raised to minus 6 can be measured with it. So very small potential difference, 10 raised to minus 6 volt, that can be measured with the help of potentiometer, which we cannot measure using voltmeter here. Now next is demerits. Potentiometer is not portable, and direct method of potential difference or EMF is not possible. So potentiometer directly doesn't give the reading or directly doesn't give you the value of EMF or potential difference, but we have to calculate the formula and then we obtain the value of potential difference or EMF. So directly we cannot get the value of either potential difference or EMF. And second thing is, portable means it is not small size as voltmeter, but it has long size, large size, long length, and because of that it is not portable here. So there are two demerits of potentiometer over voltmeter here. So the question may be asked in examination, explain the advantages or disadvantages of potentiometer over voltmeter. A 2 marks question will be asked in examination. Now check carefully the next topic of galvanometer. So we have the concept of galvanometer. That topic we are going to learn again in the next chapter of magnetic effect of electric current. So here we have in short what is the construction and how this working, that we explain here in short, and then we have the use of galvanometer. So check carefully what we have given in first point. A galvanometer is a device used to detect weak electrical current in a circuit. So check carefully. This is the horseshoe shaped magnet, north pole and opposite south pole. These will be cutting in cylindrical shape, and inside the gap we have spiral spring, then rectangular coil, and at the center we have iron core, and on that spiral spring we fix a pointer. So on coil we have one pointer is fixed. So amount of current, so depend upon amount of current through this rectangular coil, accordingly there is a deflection of coil in between the poles of magnet. So the galvanometer instrument or device just only check the current, doesn't measure the current but just sense the current or detect the current here, and accordingly we have the deflection either on both the sides of 0 here. So initially pointer is at 0, means there is no current, and if current is in one direction it will give deflection on one direction. If current is reverse, then deflection will on other side here. So what we have, the simple construction, and the important part in this particular working is the deflection of the pointer or deflection of the coil directly proportional to amount of current here. So that is the principle of galvanometer here. So deflection means the pointer will be deflect either from 0, 10, 20, 30 on one side to other side, depend upon direction of current. That deflection proportional to current here. So this will be the concept of galvanometer. Now in this chapter we have the use of galvanometer as to design the two important devices as ammeter and voltmeter. So let us go to the first use, the galvanometer as an ammeter. So what are the conditions here? Important points. So to convert a moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter, the modifications necessary are its effective current capacity must be increased to desired higher value. Number second, so we have to increase current capacity, and number second, its effective resistance must be decreased. Resistance we have to decrease. This is because we connect the ammeter in series with the circuit here. So in that case, resistance should be very small. So minimum potential difference will be appear across that ammeter. So its resistance should be decreased. And in case of ideal condition, so ideal case ammeter should have zero resistance. So in multiple choice question, the small question will be asked. In ideal case, ammeter should have fill in the blanks resistance. So we have zero, infinite, large, small, like this. So this will be the, for ideal case we have zero here. Now number third, it must be protected from possible damages which are likely due to passage of excess electric current to be passed. So we have to protect the galvanometer from excess current here, and for that we have the modification or extra connections of resistance to the galvanometer to design ammeter here. So these are the three conditions. Now we have actual construction or actual conversion of galvanometer into ammeter, that the simple circuit is shown here. So what we have done in this circuit is given to convert a moving coil galvanometer, that is short form MCG, into an ammeter by connecting a low resistance in parallel with the galvanometer, which effectively reduces the resistance of galvanometer. This low resistance connected in parallel is called shunt resistance or S. Now check carefully the diagram. Galvanometer G connected with parallel with the resistance S, and that resistance S is called shunt resistance. So suppose we consider the current, total current I flowed through this particular circuit that divide into two parts, Ig and Is. So Ig current flowing through galvanometer and Is flowing through S. And if we compare the resistance, so this resistance S should be very low here. So check the highlight part. Low resistance in parallel means compared to galvanometer, S should be very small in magnitude. So suppose if you consider G, suppose 100 ohm, then S should be 5 or 10 ohm, like this. So compared to the G, S should be very small. So accordingly, large current should flow through resistance S, and that will be useful for conversion into ammeter here. Now check carefully. Ig current flow through G and Is current flow through S, and Ig and Is will be total current will be I. Now we have small derivations or equation. In this arrangement shown in a figure, Ig is current through galvanometer. Therefore current through S will be equal to, so check, I total current I is equal to Ig plus Is. So we write equation for Is. So Ig taken on left hand side. So I minus Ig, that is equal to Is. So this is suppose a reference equation. Now since S and G are parallel, Vg is equal to Vs. Now check the circuit diagram. S and G parallel to each other. So potential across G should be equal to potential across S. And accordingly, we have Vg is equal to Vs. So according to Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. So resistance and current, resistance of galvanometer is suppose G, and current through galvanometer is Ig. So product will be used potential. Similarly, the shunt resistance S into current through the shunt is Is. So this product will be potential across shunt resistance S. So if we take the reference equation Is as I minus Ig in this equation, then what we obtain, Is will be replaced as I minus Ig, and writing equation for S, we obtain Ig divided by I minus Ig and into G here. So this is required equation of the shunt resistance or parallel resistance for having the range I here, in which Ig remain fixed and G also remain fixed. That is equation number first here. Now we have some additional cases. Number first, if current I is n times current Ig, suppose current I, range I will be n times Ig, then we take as I is equal to n times Ig. Suppose we have n is suppose 10, so range of ammeter should be I is equal to 10 times Ig or 100 times Ig. That factor n we have taken here. In that case, we solve the equation 1, S is equal to G into Ig, and here we have the I replace as n times Ig minus Ig will be get cancelled. S is equal to 1 upon n minus 1 into G, that is equation number second. This is require shunt to increase range n times. One more case will be there. Also, if Is is current through the shunt resistance, then remaining current, suppose we have Ig current through galvanometer, so remaining current will be I minus Ig, that is the flow through the galvanometer. Suppose Ig we can express as I minus Ig, and in this formula of potential, check carefully, G into Ig is equal to S into Is. So we now replace Ig as I minus Is. So what we obtain, G I minus Is equal to S into Is, G into I minus G into Is equal to S into Is. Now we separate Is and I. So this term taken on right hand side. So we write here G into I as on left hand side, that term we write on right hand side, and the remaining two terms S into Is, S into Is, and this term become positive. So G into Is. So Is we can taken out common. So Is divided by I is equal to G divided by S plus G taken on divide on right hand side. So Is divided by I is equal to G divided by S plus G as equation number third here. So this equation gives the fraction of total current through the shunt resistance. So this is the conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. Now we have a small topic, the galvanometer as voltmeter. Similar points we have given to convert an moving coil galvanometer into voltmeter. The modification necessary are, again, voltage measuring capacity must be increased to desired higher value. Second number, its effective resistance must be increased. So resistance we have to increase, and in case of ammeter we decrease resistance. So here we have to increase exactly opposite, and in case of ideal case, voltmeter should have infinite resistance. So in case of ammeter, zero resistance, and in case of voltmeter we have infinite resistance. And number third, we must protect from possible damages which are likely due to excess applied potential difference. Now we have very simple diagram. Range of voltmeter is V, current Ig flow through the X as well as G. So X is series resistance in series with G, suppose, and current will remain same, that is flowing through X as well as G. Now we have small equations compared to the related to the diagram here. So total potential V is equal to potential across suppose X as well as potential across G, as these are in series. So potential total will be V is equal to Ig into X plus Ig into G. So that is, we have taken V is equal to Ig into X plus Ig into G. Therefore Ig into X is equal to Ig into G, and remaining term on left hand side. So Ig into X, and this term become minus. So V minus Ig into G. And solving for X, we obtain X is equal to V upon Ig minus G. as equation number 1. Now we have one more special case. Equation 1 gives the value of resistance X. Now if we consider V is equal to NV times the VG. Now that equation 2, suppose if we use in first. So this will be NV is equal to V upon VG, factor by which voltage range is increased. How much times voltage range we have to increase? So that is factor NV here. So using 2 in 1, second equation, if we use in first equation, then what we obtain, X is equal to NV into VG. So V will be replaced as NV into VG. So NV into VG divided by IG minus G. Again, voltage across galvanometer is equal to IG into G. So IG will be get cancelled here. NV into G minus G. So here we taken out G will be common. And what we obtain, therefore X is equal to G NV minus 1 here. So that is required equation number 3 for the series resistance X in terms of galvanometer G and the number of times or factor NV times the range we have to increase. And here we have simple conversion that is given in your textbook, the comparison of ammeter and voltmeter, so that you can check one by one. Already we have discussed all these points, so check carefully 1 to 5 points of difference and study hard. Revise all the steps by checking the steps given in this video and try to note down your notes. In next lecture, we begin with the small topic of thermoelectricity or Seebeck effect, and then we have some problems. We are going to solve some unsolved problems from textbook. Thank you.